The sun hung low over the African savanna, casting golden rays across the swaying grasses. The wind was gentle, warm, and carried with it 1,000 scents, the perfume of dry earth, the rustle of distant herds, and something else, something fresh. Rudo, a mature male lion in his prime, moved with deliberate grace. His mane, tinged with dust and sunlight, rippled with every step. He was not merely wandering. He was hunting. Hunger tugged at his belly, sharp and insistent. Then he caught it, the scent. Rich, unmistakable. Fresh meat, eyes narrowing. He followed the trail, weaving through golden grass toward a lone acacia tree. Beneath it, as if offered by the land itself, lay a generous cut of raw flesh. But something was wrong. The meat was too clean, too perfect, too still. For a brief moment, Rudo paused. A flicker of instinct, unease. But the hunger was louder. He stepped forward. One bite. Snap! A roar shattered the stillness as a hidden net exploded upward. Rudo was lifted, limbs tangled, muscles straining. He was caught, not by predator or prey, but by something far more dangerous. Man! Across the sunlit branches of a nearby fig tree, the rustling began. Soft at first, then louder. A troop of 10 vervet monkeys, full of mischief and mirth, had heard the roar. Among them was Kibu, the oldest and cleverest of the group, a wiry fellow with quick eyes and a knack for spotting trouble. They bounded toward the commotion, swinging branch to branch, tails high and curiosity aflame. There, hanging awkwardly from the acacia, was Rudo, the king of these plains, now snared like a common thief in a hunter's trap. The monkeys paused, then erupted into a chorus of hoots and screeches. They pointed, bounced, and giggled. A lion, their lion, helpless and tangled. Some hurled twigs, others poked the net from a distance, emboldened by the safety of ropes and height. Rudo's growl rumbled deep, but his power meant nothing now. His flanks heaved with each breath, and one great paw was twisted, bleeding against the mesh. The fire in his eyes had dulled, not with fear, but pain and pride. Slowly, the laughter died. Kibu descended from the branches and stood still. Around him, the troop quieted. Something had shifted from mockery to concern. The jungle, it seemed, had just remembered its balance. Kibu tilted his head, eyes narrowing with purpose. With a sharp trill, he signaled to the others. The troop responded instinctively. The teasing was over. Now came the work. 2 monkeys climbed the tree, nimble fingers tugging at the knot above where the net clung to the branch. Others leapt onto the mesh itself, hanging from its sides, chewing furiously at the coarse twine. One brave youngster, Timo, scrambled up Rudo's side, reaching for a tight strap near the lion's shoulder. His teeth met resistance. The rope was thick, soaked with tension and time. He bit harder, but his grip faltered. With a squeak, he slipped, only to be caught midair by a companion's outstretched arms. Below, the effort intensified. Little hands pulled, stretched, and tugged. Rudo groaned, the sound deep and weary, his muscles trembling from hours of suspended strain. The sun hovered lower, casting golden streaks through the grassland. The monkeys, though tireless in spirit, were beginning to falter. One by one, they dropped to the ground, panting. Kibu stood apart, chest heaving, gaze fixed on the horizon. And then he saw it. Far beyond the tall savanna grass, glinting in the sunlight, stood the tower of the ranger station. A bold decision took root in his mind. There was still hope, but it would mean leaving the troop behind. Kibu climbed swiftly, ascending to the highest limb of the fig tree. Below him, the others watched in silence, a rare stillness among monkeys. He turned once more toward Rudo, still suspended, still suffering, then faced the horizon. The ranger station lay beyond the thornveld and across the open grassland, a dangerous path, especially for one so small. But Kibu had made his choice. With a deep breath, he leapt, branch to branch. He flew like wind-carried leaves, his tiny heart pounding. He dodged the shadow of a hawk circling above, hurdled thorny shrubs that reached like claws from the earth, and soared past a startled herd of impalas scattering in alarm. At last, the familiar clearing opened before him, the ranger station. Inside, Ranger Elias, a man whose boots had long since molded to the rhythm of the land, was polishing his binoculars when a sharp thumping broke his focus. He turned. On the window, a monkey, screeching, desperate. Kibu pointed, yanked, pleaded, and Elias, a man who had seen too much to doubt instinct, grabbed his kit and followed. Guided by Kibu's urgent leaps and shrill calls, Ranger Elias moved swiftly through the tangled underbrush. His boots crushed dry leaves and snapped twigs beneath them, yet the monkey never slowed, a living compass fueled by purpose. At last, they emerged into a small clearing. There, beneath the broad crown of the acacia, hung the lion. Rudo, Elias stopped cold. The once mighty beast now dangled in eerie silence, his great chest rising and falling in slow, labored rhythm. No roar, no defiance, only fatigue. His golden eyes met Elias's, not with anger, but with a quiet, pleading trust. A poacher's net, Elias muttered grimly, recognizing the crude design, tightly wound, barbed with hooks. Without hesitation, he unpacked his gear. A collapsible ladder, a hunting knife, a coil of climbing rope. And then up he went. The monkeys, suddenly calm, moved into action again. One held the ladder steady. Another swung down to pass Elias a tool. It was as though two species, long at odds, had reached a silent truce. With steady hands, Elias sliced through the final cord. The net gave way. Rudo dropped, not with a crash, but a thud softened by the earth, eyes fluttering, still breathing. He was free. The great lion lay still, sprawled across the sun-warmed earth. His sides heaved with exhaustion, and his massive paws twitched faintly, the last echoes of a struggle that had nearly claimed his life. Ranger Elias approached slowly, water bottle in hand, a small tin of antiseptic tucked under one arm. Every movement was careful, deliberate. He knew better than to startle a wounded predator. Yet something in Rudo's eyes, a flicker of understanding, perhaps even gratitude, told him this moment was different. As Elias knelt, the lion's head lifted. Their eyes met, and for one breathless second, the world held still. Then slowly, Rudo lowered his head once more, resting it gently on the grass. Permission granted. Elias worked in silence, dabbing the raw wounds with cloth and balm. Around them, the monkeys gathered once again, but this time they did not chatter or tease. They formed a circle, hushed, respectful. Kibu crept close, gingerly plucking burrs from Rudo's mane. Others followed, picking away thorns, brushing dust from his fur. For nearly an hour, man, monkey, and lion coexisted, a scene so improbable it might have belonged to myth. But it was real. Here, in the golden light of the wild, the lines between fear and trust blurred. And for one perfect moment, nature was whole. By morning, the sun rose strong and unfiltered, casting long shadows across the clearing. Rudo stirred. His legs, stiff and bruised, trembled as he pushed against the earth. With one mighty heave, he stood, unsteady but upright. Elias watched from a distance, arms crossed, heart full. Kibu and his troop clung to low branches nearby, their faces alert, eyes wide. The lion looked around once, at the tree that had held him, the man who had freed him, and the monkeys who had, against all odds, become his saviors. Then, slowly, Rudo turned to the open savanna. With a final glance, a long, lingering look that seemed to say, "I remember." He walked forward, his great mane catching the wind, his tail swaying like a banner reclaimed. The monkeys erupted in a wild cheer, leaping branch to branch in celebration. Kibu grinned and tapped his chest twice, a silent salute. Later that day, Elias marked the site and alerted authorities. Another trap dismantled, another lesson learned. That night, as he sat by his desk, pen in hand, Elias wrote, "Today, I saw more than survival. I saw compassion beyond species. A lion saved not just by a man, but by 10 little hearts who once mocked him, and ended up becoming his heroes. In the heart of the savannah, where survival is often written in tooth and claw, this story reminds us that nature still holds room for mercy and wonder. A lion, snared by cruelty, was not saved by might, but by the smallest of allies. In the language of the wild, there are few words, but many powerful gestures. Today, we witnessed one. If this story moved you, inspired you, or simply reminded you of the unexpected beauty in the natural world, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we continue to share more untold tales from the wild. There is always more to discover.